Do you want to know how to get autistic kids to listen? Well, you're not alone. I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, how to build strong family bonds, child development, and education, all through the lens of the principles self-government. And in this video, we're talking about autistic kids listening. Your autistic child can learn to listen. It just takes the right approach. For many years, I did therapeutic treatment care for troubled children, and some of them were autistic. Some of them had autism as well as ADHD, ODD, RAD, other things as well, and they all learned how to listen and pay attention the first time. It really is all in the training and in the mindset of the person doing that teaching and training. So let's talk about what you can understand about autistic kids and listening, and what you can do to help them cross over some of those neurodiverse hurdles they may have to traverse. Autism may change how your child processes the world, but it doesn't change their ability to learn and listen. So let's talk about that ability to process. And really, some people will say, autistic people can do things other people can't do with their processing, and that's absolutely true. But I will say that oftentimes autistic people end up getting a little bit distracted. Sometimes their own anxieties will get them distracted. They get a little bit caught up in their own head about something, and then they have a hard time listening to what's going on around them, paying attention, following instructions, and doing that follow through that is needed to be successful in their education, socially, and in their interactions with other people. So what do you do to help a person who has a hard time processing, especially if they're having a high anxiety moment, get to that place where they can listen to you anyway? Well, it's all in the environment that you set up and the tone you carry and your ability to be able to follow through. So we've got the pre-teach or the setup that happens, and then your consistency in follow through, and then the tone that you carry through that whole interaction that you're having with the person, and hopefully just in general in your life. And this means that there is a focus on being calm, truly calm. So we're going to talk a little bit more about calmness at the end of this video, but first I want to get into some of the nuts and bolts of the skills that you might need to be successful when you're working with a person with higher levels of anxiety and neurodiversity. So when a person is more anxious, they need to know ahead of time what's going to come. And really, if you're working with autistic people, autistic children, you know that if they can know ahead of time, the anxiety level goes down. In fact, everyone with anxiety usually feels that way. So you need to keep things predictable. Now, the beautiful thing about the teaching self-government approach to parenting is that it is very predictable. In fact, you can find a lot more success because of the predictability factor. You teach your child ahead of time, these are the skills you're going to need, these are the skills I'm going to need, this is how we're going to use the skill, this is when it's going to happen and what I will say next. That type of programming brings a lot of confidence and peace to an autistic child that you might be working with. It's also going to give them a little bit more of a planning for their responses. They'll be able to respond with okay. They'll be able to respond with a calm face, voice, and body. They'll be able to go and do the thing and then check back with you. If you can have those types of role play practices before it's ever even time, they're going to be much more successful. Now that said, sometimes your autistic child may not like to actually do cued practice or role play because they might think that it's annoying, because some of them that are highly intelligent may feel like that's a little beneath them to have that type of conversation. Some of them might not actually want to plan to get rid of some of their old behaviors. And once you do the practicing and the planning of the new skill development and explain how it helps them, they can't deny that they probably should make a change. And this is honestly any strong-willed person or anxious person, whether they're autistic or not, is going to be having the same type of resistance to a new skill that they are being presented with at the time. So just expect that and carry on and trust that they can learn it and follow through, because they absolutely can. So there are 4 basic self-government skills that any person can learn. Little toddlers, even some toddlers that can't form complete sentences, little children can learn some self-regulation skills of self-government using these 4 basic skills that are taught in these 4 children's books. These are probably ideal for about ages 12 and under, but no worries because I have other books for adults that teach the skills as well. This just makes it really fun to teach to the children, and it reinforces them as you use these books again and again. The 4 basic skills are following instructions, accepting no answers and criticism, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately. And when a person learns the skill sets to all 4 of those 4 basic skills, that takes care of 99% of their behavioral problems. And this is where I started with all of my autistic foster children that came to my home. We said, can we learn these skills first? Now, these 4 basic skills have some things in common with each other, which helps them build upon each other for the learning. 2 steps to every one of those 4 basic skills are to look at the person, which for some autistic people is rough to do, okay? And then to keep a calm face, voice, and body. So what I often did with my autistic kiddos is I would say, all right, this week we're going to work on eye contact. Now, at first I taught all the skills, but I knew that they would be struggling through some of them. So our focus might be eye contact for 1 week, looking at the person and really focusing and listening in. And if they couldn't look at me and listen in, then they would touch me. And that way, if their eyes wandered a little bit so that they could listen, that was okay because we still established a connection. So we would hold hands or something like that when we were having communication if they couldn't look at the person and maintain their focus. Then the next week, we would focus on having a calm face, a calm voice, a calm body. If you can do all 3 in 1 week, great. If not, you might take 1 each week and focus on those things so that they can analyze what's going on within themselves. Because there are higher levels of anxiety with autistic people, sometimes they have to break it down and analyze one thing at a time. This can be very useful for them. So after you've worked through all of the steps to each of those skills of self-government, obviously you're going to teach them also how you will correct them. And don't be afraid to do corrections if they don't get it right one time, they forget, or something like that. Now, I do recommend a cue phrase for someone with higher levels of anxiety. And when I say cue phrase, I mean that if you can see they might be going to a place where they're not going to follow that instruction, or they're choosing to lose their calmness, maybe they're not there yet, but it could go there. I might say, hey, calm voice. And then, okay, calm voice. And then it will pull them back to reality. You shouldn't have to do lots of reminders. In fact, don't. You need to be consistent in your teaching. You pre-teach, instruct, and then do whatever feedback, corrections, or praise that you need to do. But sometimes a little cue phrase can get the person back on track really fast, and then they find themselves more successful. Another thing that you want to do is emotional modeling. So if you want them to be calm and okay with the instructions and the interactions, you need to be calm and okay with the instructions and interactions too. So making sure that you maintain your calmness is going to give them an opportunity to practice their calmness too. Whatever our tone is has a boomerang effect. So if I send out calmness, my chances of getting some calmness back actually go up. If I send out frustration, overwhelm, detachment, then that's what I'm going to get back from the other person. So if you're also autistic, keep that in mind. You've got to focus in on looking at the person too and staying completely calm. Now, I'd like to help you a little bit with your calmness. I have a Calm Parenting Toolkit on my website, teachingselfgovernment.com. There's also a link to it in the description below this video. So if you click on that link or go to teachingselfgovernment.com, you can get the Calm Parenting Toolkit, which is a 10-lesson starter kit for free right now. It's not the whole training. You'll probably need a lot more after that. Those 10 lessons of calmness should help you on your road to self-government so that you can model calmness so that they can be okay too. They can listen to you. We just have to do the pre-teaching. We have to model the tone that we want them to have, and then they can do it too. It is possible. Click on the link. I'll see you on the Calm Parenting Toolkit.